We're going to have a beginning to Virgo season like never before. This is going to be the jump start of change as Virgo energy begins. So the sun enters Virgo August 22nd, and then less than 12 hours later, we have our first Virgo New Moon at 0 degrees on August 23rd. This is the first Virgo New Moon because we're going to have a second Virgo solar eclipse at the end of Virgo season. So how something begins for you here in Virgo season is going to look very different over the next month. This area of your chart where you have 0 to 29 degrees of Virgo, the houses involved are going to be experiencing a lot of change, sudden developments, endings, closures, new starts. You could have a whiplash effect in the Virgo energies here. So Virgo season begins with that new moon, 0 degrees of Virgo in your chart, and the next day, August 24th, Uranus in Gemini squares the sun in Virgo for the first time in over 80 years. So for most of you, I'm going to assume most of you are under 80, under 84. This will be the first time in your life that the sun in Virgo has squared Uranus in Gemini. Big changes, sudden shifts, drastic realizations. The square from Uranus and Gemini is exciting. It's opening you up to new choices, options, things you never considered, never wanted to do before. And Uranus and Gemini takes us out of the routines and habits that we look for in Virgo. So some people are going to have an understanding of, I don't want to live like this anymore. I want to change my routines and change my lifestyle. I want to do something wildly different. I want to follow my bucket list. I don't want this job anymore, because Virgo is what we do on a daily basis, and typically we associate that with our jobs. You know, where we show up every day, what we have to take care of, what our responsibilities are. And all of that is going to be tossed up into the air. And I feel that the universe is going to show you what is possible now. And it could be both exciting and get you thinking of your life in a bigger way. And then it could also bring about, I'm not prepared. And if you know a Virgo, you know preparation is important. Being there early and on time is essential. Having things understood, mapped out, everything in its compartment, this energy changes all of that. And so that's why it could feel that there are big changes occurring here, especially if you have planets or points in the early degrees of the mutable signs. I'm going to go 0, especially 0 to 3 degrees. 0 to 3 degrees of Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, and Pisces. This is going to be life-changing developments. It is not hyperbole. It could even feel like there's something outside of your control that's changing how you've always done something. And right away, when we look at Uranus and Gemini, that does go to technologies, new developments, new advancements, what we are learning that we can do faster, and how those parts of our world are now coming into our daily reality even more quickly. And it changes the lesson plan. In fact, both the Gemini and Virgo energies relate to education. How we learn, what we think about, what we study, how we prepare for our exams, how we show up to do our best. It opens up a whole new school year. And so if you're in school or if you're a parent, then this would pertain to you. But of course, we know that with everything moving so rapidly, there's developments that we're not going to see coming, and all of a sudden they're going to be here. And they will be those unexpected announcements, those emails coming through with updates that we didn't know about. There's a lot of surprises here. And the surprises are jolting because they disturb what has been your habits, what has been what you've relied upon. And so you want to look at these two areas of your chart. So I identified, right, that you want to look at where you have 0 to 29 degrees of Virgo, all of Virgo, because that's going to be a very active part of your world through Virgo season. Because not only are we starting with this Virgo new moon at 0 degrees, and then the sun squaring Uranus at 1 degree, but in 2 weeks, September 7th, a Pisces lunar eclipse, and then on September 21st, Virgo solar eclipse at 29 degrees of Virgo. So the mutable signs are revving up here. And how I'm seeing this is that the universe is moving you away from what you've already fulfilled. Pat on the back, great job, excellent performance. Now here's what's next. And it happens like that. And it happens faster maybe than what you thought. And you could have a sense of, I'm not ready. I need more time. And the universe is giving you a redirect. Now this can of course be also in your thoughts, because both Gemini and Virgo energies relate to our mental processes. And where that Gemini energy is more inquisitive and curious and wants to ask questions and learn, the Virgo energy is specific, is wanting to look at how is this applicable, can this work, how do I make this work? Both are concerned with details, facts, how those are implemented and used. Crazy new data can come up here. A lot is going to be moving about, moving around. There's an intensity in communications. There's things that don't line up, things that aren't matching up, and you don't know what to choose or you don't know what to do. This will be working and playing out on the world stage. Big announcements, more big announcements, but also in jobs, in work and in industries that both Virgo and Gemini rule. So anything where there's a specific skill set that's used. This pertains to medical, healthcare, and all the jobs that fall under those umbrellas. Technology, software, engineering, programming. I mean, this is computers. That's like probably one of the biggest categories we can say, right? But that's what is being focused here, like big developments and advancements. Perhaps new programming is announced, new devices will be coming out, more will be revealed about what we're capable of doing on our computers and devices and phones. All of that is also going to show us what is closing out and ending. And so with the square to the sun in Virgo, there's going to be reality checks here around jobs, occupations, and industries that are phasing out. Phasing out because of where technology is going and what's being automated, what is more readily available through AI, and how AI is being integrated into so many more industries and areas of our lives. And it's interesting because I feel like what occurs the end of August, it shakes things up through eclipse season. I mean, this is an eclipse. It's eclipse energy, I should say. It's not an official eclipse, but it's happening with that Virgo new moon, and then the sun and the moon both square Uranus and Gemini. So it could feel like we're having 3 eclipses throughout Virgo season that is showing us the overlap between the old world that's closing out and ending and the new world that's arriving rapidly and is being dispersed everywhere. And that's really what we're going to be moving through, especially in eclipse season. And of course into, the last quarter of 2025. So we're going to need to be more adaptable. As soon as I said that though, I felt the energy sink because I feel like a lot of people are just tired. Like worn out, like your energy is tired. This year has been a lot. We're existing on a planet that's accelerating in its speed. We're feeling a lot more energies. We're overwhelmed. And then there's no rest for the weary. So as we move into Virgo season, one of the ways that I like to think of Virgo season is that it is about our simple essentials and our daily devotions. What grounds you? What brings you back to your beautiful essence? What also connects you with a gratitude to be here, to be in the human body on this wild journey, and to find that gratitude in the simple things. You could realize there's things you just want to cut out. You're just done with something. You're done with maybe half the apps on your phone, or you're done with things that are just draining your energy. And you're like, I don't want that anymore. I don't need that anymore. And that's part of what this shift is with this transit and with eclipse season. It's like, what is really serving you and what's draining you? And not just, it's interesting because as I said that, I was thinking like, well, we have busy lives, we have a lot going on, but I'm feeling this as these, the energy cords, the energy frequencies that surround us, that our bodies are always feeling and picking up on even when we don't know it. And so there could be a sense of, I'm just going to clear all this out. I want to get rid of this. I want to get rid of that. I want to get rid of anything that's an intrusion on my energy. Even if it's excessive in your home. Thinking of all the smart devices, all the wireless things going on. Of course, there's so much happening above our heads around the earth with Starlink and the satellites and all of those there's so many now. I feel like all of this is what we're picking up on. And it's not conscious until it is. And then you realize maybe it's excessive for me. Maybe I don't need all this stuff in my home or in my space. Maybe there's things I want to get rid of. And I want to be in charge of my daily environments even more. Quite a start to Virgo season, which is eclipse season. And keep that in mind that the Virgo new moon begins eclipse season because the eclipse, the Pisces lunar eclipse, is at 15 degrees of Pisces on September 7th. So whatever starts during this time is what you're going to realize that Pisces energy is asking you to close it out and move away from it. And with this eclipse cycle, these eclipse energies. The North Node is in Pisces. Less is more. Simplicity is a gift. So take stock and take inventory of what you do in a day, of what consumes your energy, of what takes up your time. And maybe you're going to have some really surprising revelations around what you're ready to get rid of that actually then elevates you and you feel lighter. So I'll have a video for you here on YouTube going through the chart of this particular Virgo new moon, discussing these energetics more specifically. But I hope this gives you some insights into what we will be moving through here in a very active Virgo season, as well as how the eclipses are going to be changing us and moving us into our next experiences. As always, thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for being here. I'll be back soon with another video for you.